Hey, welcome to today's science experiment. We're going to try and make Cartesian divers. Right, what they are, what you need is a bottle. These 2 litre ones are perfect. They're all Coke or Sprite or Iron Brew bottles or whatever because they're quite smooth and the plastic is perfect for it. Things like the milk bottles that you would use for the flying mouse experiment aren't really the right sort. These, without any ridges in, are perfect. The 2 litre one is great. You can use 1 litre or even the 500ml ones. They still work. And you need a pen lid. So I got one just from a regular Bic pen and some blue tack. So the first step you've got to do is fill your bottle up right to the top. Now I'm not quite at the top, so I need to go right to the top here. And you'll see this will help you in just a second as well, in case you need to retrieve your pen lid if it's floating too high. So first up, you seal off the top hole with a piece of blue tack, and then you want to put some blue tack on the base, like that. This is to give it weight. This is your Cartesian diver. And then you need to carefully put it into the water. And as you do, I'm trying to trap air into it at the top. Now you can see that it's floating, it's too light still, it's still out of the water. So if I take it out again, if your water isn't quite as high, give your bottle a little squeeze and your Cartesian diver will come back up again, you can retrieve it. So you then add a bit more weight and you're just going to keep trying to add more and more blue tack each time until you kind of get it to hover float. So here I try again, it's still not hover floating, so it needs to be held in suspension. So I take it out, I'll try this one because this one I've added a bit more blue tack on. Now it's either going to go 2 ways. It's either going to sink and I'll have to try and retrieve it, or just get another pen lid, or it's still going to float too much. So let's have a look. So put it in, try and catch the air bubble. Sort of hover floating, still not quite there, so I'm going to add one tiny bit more blue tack each time. Right, catch the air bubble as I put it in. Oh, we're sort of getting there. I'm going to try one more bit of blue tack, make it slightly heavier. It's better to start with less blue tack, or not enough, and then add more, because otherwise it's going to sink. If it's too heavy, it's going to sink straight to the bottom anyway. And we don't want it to sink just yet. Here we go. Oh, that's nice. So you can see how it's floating, and yet it's not bobbing out of the water. Right, so the water's right at the top. I put my pen lid on, like this. So my pen lid, my bottle lid on, like that, and my diver is right at the top. Now the whole point is I'm going to squeeze and he should dive to the bottom. Hey, look at that. Yay. And then I can let go. Bobs up to the top again. Squeeze. Now if you control your squeezing, you can make him hover, or her, make her hover midway through, a bit further down, a bit higher up, like that. So what's happening is because you trap some air in the pen lid, gas can be compressed. So when I squeeze the bottle, I'm squeezing the little bubble of air that's in my pen lid. Because I squeeze it, water fills up the space that the gas was taking, and then the pen lid's weight effectively becomes heavier, so it sinks to the bottom. And then when I let go, the gas bubble inside the pen lid expands again, and means that it's able to make the pen lid float up. Okay, right, so it's time for you to give this a go. Like I said, you only need a pen lid and some blue tack and a bottle. If you haven't got it, don't worry, but have a go. Right, now what I need to do, here's an extension, because I know some of you will go, well, what's next, Mr. Lemon? I've managed that. So here's the trick. You can now make it dive for things. So I know my pen lid was just about the right buoyancy. So if I fill this up to the top again, now what you can do is you can add a little fishing hook. And I've made one out of a paper clip. Now this is weighty as well, so I'm actually going to need to remove some of my blue tack. Otherwise my Cartesian diver is going to be too heavy. And then I'm going to attach my paper clip like this. And this is effectively like a little fishing hook. So if I put it down, hopefully it's not going to sink. Oh, perfect. So yes. if I put the bottle lid back on and I squeeze, I've now got a little fishing hook. And what you can do is put things in your water to try and hook up things that sink to the bottom. So if you pause the video. Okay, well the things that you could do is what you could do is use the ring here. So the ring that's just under the lid, the seal, you can take that off, but you need to weigh this down. So what I'm going to try weighing this down with, because this will float, but I'm going to add another paper clip onto it. And if I squeeze around like that, and what I should have is something that sits to the bottom that floats up. So I take my pen lid off. Bottle lid. I keep saying that, I don't know why. There's my diver. Now I'm going to put this guy in. Hey, and he sinks. So now I'm going to try fishing for him. So put my Cartesian diver back in. And top up a bit of water just to make sure I'm right at the top. Don't mind if it overflows. Right, I'm trying to trap the air. Like that. Pen lid on. Now. I called it a pen lid again. Don't know what's wrong with me. So, if I'm clever, if I'm very skillful, no, not quite. So I can tilt the bottle slightly, and if I'm very good, oh, I've almost hooked it. It's just too heavy. Is he coming up? Right, well you get the idea. So maybe my paper clip is slightly too heavy. Maybe I should have used a smaller paper clip for that part there. So, all right, let's see if I can unhook. There we go. So I can unhook, and then maybe I can try a second bait, like to try and catch her with. All right, so all you need is a pen lid and some blue tack and a bottle full of water. If you want the extension, try making something you can hook up. I use the seal of the bottle and a small paper clip, something small to weigh it down enough. But then when you add a paper clip onto your Cartesian diver, remove some of the blue tack, add a paper clip on, and see if you can make a little fishing hook as well. Have fun, guys. Share them, see if you can make them, share them and blog them, and we can actually get some really cool results on there today. Have fun.
Bye.